All right, Nick. Coming in much, much better than the last time. Much, much, much better. Just a little bit.
Yeah, do I have the right mic on?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are better, if we're being honest.
Dude, I had a rough day. I had a rough day yesterday. So my camera wouldn't work.
Right.
For our live show. Fixed it like in 8 seconds after we went off the air. So that frustrated me. And then it was also out of sync. I didn't even know that. Thanks for sparing me on that detail.
No. Listen, I think there are times where you got to be like, I don't know what the right word is, but you're looking out for your boys type thing.
No,
like you really don't want to like over frustrate someone when they're already frustrated. You're not trying to compile anything, so you just let it live. I'm not trying to be like, hey, your camera's not working, your microphone's not synced up, and then all of a sudden now I was worried that maybe you're just going to slam the computer shut and I was going to be on my own. So that didn't happen. So we're in a much better spot here. 6-0.
So then, Trace, I tried to record a little instant reaction YouTube video last night with our guy Craig Sandlin at almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Because you know what? Hey, kind of stuff gets clicks, and we're in the click business.
That's right.
Seriously, I want to talk about Austin Slater because it's a big move, and people want to hear about stuff like that. I'm not big move, but you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
And so the camera's working great, but because the camera was reinserted into the computer, the program we used the camera as my microphone. So I sounded like I was underwater in that. It was a tough night. It was a tough scene all around, but we've rallied today.
Well, I'm glad to see it. For those that are wondering, we got one out, top 9. Got Zuleta getting an opportunity, man. Your guy.
Zulu. Yeah.
Zuluta?
Zulueta. Lulu, yeah. I said it wrong.
So it's not Zuleta, it's Zulueta.
Yeah, that second U is important.
Yeah. Well, I got news for you. People still can't say Matt McLean's name correctly and or spell it correctly. Good chance that his name's going to be butchered for a long time.
I'm going to do my part, okay? I'm going to do my part.
I'm just telling you. Oh, man.
Poor Zulueta. This is his one game, and he goes right back down tomorrow.
My chair is just like completely failing me right now. Remember those shows I did like a year ago where I was standing? That was a real nice one.
That was an adventure.
I still have a chair situation I need to get fixed. It's one of those things where I say I'm going to fix something and then I just never do. And it's definitely worth fixing considering we do 100 and probably what? I mean, what's a good guess on these shows? We don't do every game personally. We probably miss 10 to 15 a year at most. We're doing 170 shows at least in a year.
I think I missed 6 last year.
You would be counting, which is fine by you, by the way. Grinder.
I think my wife counted, to be honest.
All right. That's an easy way to get it done, baby. Not the prettiest double play, but they all count the same, don't they? They all count the same. All right, folks, I can't remember the last time this bad boy got ran, if we're being completely honest. It's been a long time for me. Let's see if it works.
Bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. That goes Clemente. And the save. He's done it. Get out of here, baseball. He scored. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off
De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream to get into the career of Jay Bruce.
That was actually a good one. Shout out to this, whatever this really is. They're clearing them out, though. We're clearing them out. One game at a time, Nick. Clearing them out. Reds win. Reds win. A winning edition, finally, of Chatterbox Reds. It's been a little while. 6-0 over the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies, man, they are a great team. And by great team, I really appreciate what they've done for us this year. They've given us hope when we needed it the most, you know? And so shout out to the Rockies. Poet didn't know it type stuff going on right now with me. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. 7 straight wins against the Colorado Rockies, Trey. So, yeah, enjoy having them on the schedule. Hopefully another couple days. Like to, hey, maybe we could send that streak to 10.
It would be cool. I know I have one thing. I know if I got the option to play every team in Major League Baseball like they do already or play the Rockies 162 times, I'm picking the Rockies personally. But some, they might not believe that. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, we had some newcomers. We had a trade late last night into the wee hours of the night, and I don't know how much it really moves the needle at the end of the day. Rece Hinds is on the rundown, 100% certain. Shout out to him and his first big league home run. We'll probably have a little quick discussion on kind of what he means or what it could possibly mean for the Reds. Andrew Abbott, another good start. You have some bullpen guys on there as usual, and we have the back half of the rundown. Anything overarching that you kind of want to jump on here before we do the box score recap presented by you?
No, just a good day. Apologies, I had to change it to my guy Zulueta because I assumed Diaz was going to come in. But then the Reds decided to put up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 8th and make our guy Zulueta get an inning. So, hey, that was nice as well because Zulueta's going to get shipped back down to AAA tomorrow. So you got to use him in a spot, not waste a bullet out of Diaz. So, yeah, right. Very good stuff all around.
That it was. And I think it was I don't want to say a must-win game, but we do this all the time. I do it more than you definitely do it, that's for sure. But, boy, if there was ever a game that you felt like you kind of needed to make sure that the thing didn't completely go off the rails, today was that day. They didn't. They got it done. 6-0. Box score recap presented by you. Hope you're ready.
Ready as I'll ever be, Trace Fowler. All right, Reds taking on the Colorado Rockies, first of 4 at Great American Ballpark. Reds entered, losers in 5 straight at Great American Ballpark. Reds have lost 7 of their last 8 at JBP. Andrew Abbott on the mound against Ryan Feltner of the Rockies. Bottom of the first, Reds had runners on first and third with 2 outs. Reds tried to steal a run with Spencer Steer taking second, and then Ellie De La Cruz coming home. Ellie beat the throw, but his hand slid right into the foot of Rockies catcher Elias Diaz to end the inning. Not a great start for the Redlegs. Still no score going into the bottom of the fourth. Ellie De La Cruz and Jamer Candelario led off with singles. Spencer Steer walked to load the bases. Tyler Stevenson hit into a double play, but the Reds did take a 1-0 lead. Reds got another gift run when Rockies catcher Elias Diaz made a poor throw back to the pitcher after the pitch. Candelario was on third base. He alertly saw it and took home with ease 2-0 Cincinnati. And then Andrew Abbott, just a spectacular day on the mound once again. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Abbott only allowed 5 hard-hit balls on the evening. He lowered his season ERA to 3.06 through 18 starts. Abbott's case was helped out by his outfield defense. All 3 outfielders, Will Benson, Spencer Steer, and Rece Hinds in his big league debut made sliding catches. And speaking of Rece Hinds, well, it was a pretty awesome debut for him. Reds number 15 ranked prospect Hinds was robbed of a hit in his first at-bat. Ball hit 106.8 off the bat. In his second at-bat, he had a hustle double. But in AB number 3, he showed why the people who love Rece Hinds really love him. He crushed a home run into the bleachers. That put the Reds up 3-0 in the bottom of the 8th. The Reds would end up putting up 3 more runs in the bottom of the 8th. Will Benson walked, and then Ellie De La Cruz doubled him home to make it 4-0. Ellie would score on a successful contact play to make it 5-0. And then Santiago Espinal drove in run number 6 with a single. Fernando Cruz threw a perfect 8. Yasver Zulueta, just recalled, got the Reds through the 9th. Reds win 6-0. Reds 46-48 on the season. The Padres are off, so the Reds pick up a half game, now just 4.5 out of a playoff spot.
All right, and we had a deep drive of the day, baby. We had a deep drive of the day, and it was off the bat of Rece Hinds. We'll forget all the analytics because Nick was busy, and I'm too busy to go, and I'm not busy. I'm too lazy to go look at the analytics, to be quite frank with you. I'll tell you how far it went. It went up into basically beyond the Kroger K signs up there in the top left-hand corner of the, we'll call it bleachers. And on the fly, there's Nick Kirby. There it goes. 109.6 off the bat, 449 feet, 25 degrees if you care about, what would that be called? Geometry or something like that? I don't know. Regardless, the Deep Drive of the Day is sponsored by DSC, and they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. As many times as I've done that ad read, I think that's the first time I've actually said renewable commodities correctly in a sentence together really fast. I always butcher one of them, and at the end of it, I'm like, well, I guess I'll get it next time. I think that was the first time. Speaking of the contact play, I'm going to get ahead of this. Really fast. We have 250-plus people in the chat right now. I need you to do me a favor. You don't have to follow me on Twitter. I'm not here to do that. I have spent when I say way too much time making this video on the contact play from 2023 and 2024. I'm embarrassed to say how long I spent on it. I ask of one thing and one thing only, just to make sure that I don't get divorced. I need you to retweet this and like this. I cannot have this thing fall straight on its face, okay? I spent crazy hours on this. I'm getting it done tonight because I can't wake up tomorrow and have that on my plate. I've literally been doing it for like 3 straight days, Nick. Not proud about that, but I wanted to make sure I did a good job. So there is that. That's ahead on Chatterbox Reds late night. I'll post that on Twitter at some point tonight. Tonight, Nick. Tonight.
Yes. Shout out Fergie Fowler, as always.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Shout out Andrew Kirby. Appreciate you as well. This is a grind. A labor of love, but it is a grind for sure. And also shout out Rece Hinds because I don't know if you know this or not, but Rece Hinds saved you from having to figure out how to say the name, I believe I got it correctly, Anthunen Valencia, because he was about to be your DSC deep drive of the day because, of course, all the traditional minor league teams are off on Monday. So we had to go down to the
Complex
Dominican
League.
Summer League.
Oh, we were going to the Summer League.
Dominican Summer League. Arizona Complex League just got underway out in Arizona. We'll have an update, though, of course, later on the show. But spoiler alert, Sheng-In Lin already has a hit and a stolen base tonight.
Oh, my gosh. Watch out, baby. The 2032 Cincinnati Reds are coming for you. All right, Rece Hinds, let's get into it. I mean, I got to do it. It's funny. And I think it's kind of true. I mean, I don't know when he's projected to get to the big leagues, but Sheng-In Lin, he'll be here lickety-split. Rece Hinds, he did make it to the big leagues. I put out a little bit of a snarky tweet, and I seen actually after I posted it that you beat me to this by about every good of like 6, 7, 8 hours. I don't know when it was, but I was like, damn, Nick already thought about something witty like that. You know, I got to be honest. In real time, during the game, I started thinking to myself, like, wow, what if this guy ends up just being, and again, we all know that we're kind of just being like a little bit of a honeymoon stage here with Rece Hinds. But there is some semblance of hope of like, man, if we can just get lucky, and I say that a lot, but if he can just get lucky and play over his head, or maybe we're great and he's a great big league player, I just need you for like 3 more months, man. Play the best baseball you've ever played for 3 or 4 more months, and after that, I'll live with the result of whatever happens next. But we need somebody to come in here to help us out, Nick.
How about we just say until TJ Friedl returns?
I want it the rest of the year.
I'll take just that. I'm not going to be too greedy. No, shout out to Rece Hinds. What an incredible debut. Also nice to see him make a good catch of the field, because that was another one of the liabilities that I at least saw from the times that I've watched. I don't watch every single minor league game. Try to watch as much as I can. But he early in the year, he had a game where he committed 3 errors in a game. So he's, I think, clearly worked on that part of his game. So that's good to see him do that. And then the power, it's there. It's undeniable, his power. But it's wild. You know, sometimes you just throw these guys to the wolves almost. You know, there was this is certainly not the time you would want to call Rece Hinds up to the big league. Sub 300 on base percentage, striking out in almost 40% of his at-bats. For just a little bit of context on that, Aristides Aquino was striking out in like 20% of his at-bats in AAA. Like, this is like a totally different world. But hey, you could kind of see, maybe if you really squint, maybe the Reds' thought here is, look, he's going to face some bad pitching. The Rockies are the worst pitching staff in baseball, and it's not even close. They have the worst starting pitching ERA. They have the worst bullpen ERA. They have the worst pitching staff ERA at home. They have the worst pitching staff ERA on the road. So you know what? Let's throw up a guy that, hey, you know what? Maybe he can get lucky and hit a home run. And sure enough, he hit a home run. That was a big home run tonight too, because it was only a 2-0 game at the time.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah.
You didn't have to pitch Alexis Diaz. You didn't have to, waste one of his bullets. You were able to use Yasver Zulueta, who's a guy that's only going to be here for 1 day. So it's nice to be able to use that guy while he's up here. And just shout out to Rece Hinds. Write it out as long as you can. Not going to sit here and pretend like I expect it to happen very long, but he has potential. He has potential for sure. I just don't think it's going to happen right now, but an exciting night nonetheless.
Yeah, the only way to rectify what just happened over the weekend, quite frankly, is to sweep the Rockies. And I don't mean to say that all that often. You know, sweeping anybody, as we've said many times on this show, you've definitely said it, is that it's just not realistic. You don't come into a series and be like, we're going to, we got to sweep these guys. But based off the circumstances of what just happened, it does feel like, to give the Reds a reasonable, I guess, like look ahead or post All-Star break feeling of optimism, they're going to have to do something like that. And tonight, that's the first game of the series, obviously, and you can't sweep somebody if you don't win the first one. So I'm just thankful that we got off to a good start and got another great pitching performance. And that's really been the for lack of a better term, that's been the anchor to this season. It's the only semblance of a reason that we all are even somewhat still interested from a competitive standpoint moving into the 2024 postseason, hopefully. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I keep saying to myself, Nick, like, this can't continue to be like the status quo or the norm for the starting pitching. But we're now on July 8th, and Andrew Abbott does it again. Maybe you're already believing that it's going to stick and stay like this all year long, or does it feel like this is just, even to our optimistic viewpoints, a little bit overachieving still?
I'm gonna do the cop out because it's honestly what I believe, whether people think I'm just copping out here or not. The advanced analytics, like our friends Reds in 4, Stuff Plus, Saris, all those kind of guys, they think Andrew Abbott is completely heads and above anything that's sustainable based on the Stuff Plus models and whatnot. But Andrew Abbott has outpitched every advanced analytical, like fielding into pitching for 3 straight stops. He did it at AAA last year, he did it in the big leagues last year, and he did it this year. So I look at that numbers and I say, all right, I see a guy that might be able to buck the system some, but I don't think it's fair to expect him to have a almost even 3 ERA. I think that's kind of ridiculous, especially when you pitch a Great American Ballpark, nonetheless. So I would expect some regression, from Andrew Abbott in the second half, but you can't say enough good things about what this guy's done this year. I mean, we've talked all year about sophomore slumps from guys like Will Benson. We've talked about so many guys in the minor leagues that have had just incredibly disappointing seasons. We probably haven't taken enough time to really appreciate what Andrew Abbott's done in his sophomore season, because this is the one guy that, to be honest, I think a lot of other people thought was maybe one of the top regression candidates, and he's been anything but that this year. He's been incredibly consistent, and if it wasn't for Andrew Abbott's dominance tonight, coupled with the fact that the Reds put up 4 runs in the 8th inning against a guy with an almost 8 ERA, we're spending this whole show talking about the Reds offense again. Andrew
100%.
Abbott completely flipped the narrative on that, because Kinsley doesn't come in the game if the Reds are losing. Andrew Abbott is the entire reason we're not on here for an hour and a half crying about how terrible this offense is. And that's where the Reds have to have their bread and butter the rest of the season. It's the pitching. You can win games 2-0. You can do it. You can do it with pitching. And that's where the Reds are right now.
Yeah, you can't do it consistently, which is the main concern that many of us have as Reds fans when it comes to this offense. So instead of spending an hour and a half complaining about it, I'll spend 30 seconds complaining about it. I still think that it's very, very abysmal at times. You get the bases loaded with nobody out, and quite frankly, the guy's on the ropes, and you let him off the hook because you hit a little weak, measly ground ball at the middle, and you turn into a double play. Shout out to the Rockies, by the way, for being one of the most inept baseball teams, at least that I've seen in a long, long time. They allow a guy at third base with 2 outs to score. Why? Because not only did they throw the ball just a little bit too high, the pitcher just looked like he was nonchalantly trying to catch it. Like, if I catch it, I catch it. If I don't, I don't. I'll tell you right now, whoever that poor guy is on the mound, if they had a post-game show like me on it, that guy would more than likely probably never pitch if it was up to me. Now, he threw the ball relatively well. I give him all the credit in the world, but to be that lazy in a moment like that where it's a 1-run game is crazy talk. But I guess that's just how it goes out there in Colorado. The offense is what it is. It feels like I'm going to complain a lot about this offense, but there's really nothing left to complain about, Nick, because there's just not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to complain about when it is what they are who they are. It feels like we're complaining about like the 4th string backup on some kind of team, and the reality is like, what do you expect out of them in the first place? So yeah, you're right. I think it's very evident. You do a post-game show like this, the offense doesn't go mentioned on the first half of the rundown, literally because Andrew Abbott. And maybe to be fair, Nick, to be fair to the offense, maybe if the Rockies bring in like their better arms towards the end of the game, maybe they still rough them up. I don't know, but maybe they would, to be fair. But shout out to Andrew Abbott for doing what he's done all year long. And I know that Barry brought up Tom Browning during the broadcast. I wouldn't go that far yet, but not a terrible comp. So shout out to Barry for being a broadcaster.
Yeah, Andrew Abbott's really good. I don't know if he's this good, but he is a bona fide big league starting pitcher. He's a bona fide above average big league starting pitcher. And that's what we didn't know coming into the year. We didn't know. And he's getting close to hitting that threshold. I think this was start number 18 for Abbott. Last year, only had 21 starts. So, again, it was different timing because he did start the year at AAA, but he's almost made it through a whole season of what he did last year in the big leagues. Right. And there hasn't been this regression that's come up yet. Still a lot of season left, but nonetheless, good stuff from him. On the offense, before we get into some individual players, I do think it may be better for us to stop worrying about what the offense is doing overall and have more of a laser focus on the players that we're counting on in the future. Because Ellie De La Cruz was 2 for 3. Jeimer Candelario was 2 for 4. Spencer Steer had 2 walks today. Tyler Stevenson did ground to a double play. He was 1 for 4. Jonathan India, a rare off day, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. But everyone below them, outside of Noelvi Marte, who's we all know where Noelvi Marte is,
right?
They're not really part of the future. So at least the guys that we're banking on, those guys did have good nights tonight.
Not to go down a rabbit hole on a show like this, but I mean, is Tyler Stevenson where are you at on him? It's like some of it's been the birth of his child. That's obviously important, and some of it's been kind of a knick-knack thing here, knick-knack thing there, where he's been out from time to time. But it just feels like there's a lack of consistency from him that maybe again, that's just a more of an emotional feel than an actual reality. But I think that's one person or one X factor moving forward for the rest of the season. If we can get that position solidified, which we've gotten no production from a backup standpoint. Austin Wynns is almost, and I'm being a little facetious here when I say this, but he's been almost as productive as Luke Maile has been. And then the 3 starts he's gotten versus Maile's 20. Any thoughts on Stevenson, the catcher position in a whole?
Well, let me ask you this first, because the guy that also is kind of in Tyler Stevenson's boat with newborns. I haven't been able to watch every single game as close as I can always watch them. How do you feel Tyler Stevenson has played of late defensively? That's what I want to know. Have you noticed anything from him to where you've seen any? Do we still feel like there was a significant stride from last year, and we still feel like he's at least a competent defender?
I think he's been better. I still don't know if he's. I'm not buying. If you're selling stock on Tyler Stevenson's defense, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. But I'm not going to sit here and act like he hasn't gotten a little bit better. I think that would be unfair if that's the right word to use. It just seems like when you play really good teams. And I know it's not fair to compare Tyler Stevenson to some of the greatest catchers of all time, but in our own division, right? You look around our own division, and you see Contreras, and you've seen Yachty, and it's just like, I don't know, like part of me just wants somebody that's going to be there every single day and is going to be consistent every single day, and you can count on them. So defensively, I'm not buying it, but at the same time, I can live with him being semi-average defensively if he's going to be very productive at the plate. I'm starting to not believe in that either. I just think that he rolls over too many balls. He hits so many damn weak ground balls. It's just infuriating. And it does seem like at times where he's just like trying to pull the ball a lot. And it's like and I know I've said this before, but it's like, I just want Tyler Stevenson. If he needs to be a slap hitter to right field and gets a bunch of singles, like, I'll take it. If he can hit 275, 280, if he could be Jake Fraley this year, I'll live with that. But for some reason, it's gotten his head where it's just like he thinks he's got to do this power thing. He's definitely been told. Now, I don't know this for sure, is my opinion. He's definitely been told behind closed doors that we need you to have more pop. We have got to get more power. Because I just think it comes off as like pull, 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 pull. Stop trying to pull the ball, man. Just hit the ball the other way. Stop rolling over ground balls. That's been my most frustrating thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's essentially been the same hitter that he was last year. I mean, his OPS is like a couple points different at this point. Ironically enough, his OPS is almost the same, but his weighted runs created plus has gone up, which kind of shows you that offense has dipped down even more than it was last year. But again, the defensive metrics, I always try to have a lot of caution with defensive metrics over a couple months because I think that you can get really skewed in some small samples. But there's a lot of positives with his small sample so far this year. I mean, blocks above average last year, he was at -3 in the 22nd percentile. This year, he's significantly better at +2 in the 67th percentile. His framing has drastically improved, drastically from the 5th percentile to the 75th percentile. And I do feel like we don't maybe notice that on a day-to-day basis, but the fact that we don't notice that is why it's improved.
Correct.
Because how many shows did we do last year? We're like, man, why can't Tyler Stevenson do what William Contreras does with the Brewers? So there has definitely been some improvements defensively, and maybe the biggest improvements defensively is just that we don't notice things. Like the fact that he just is more of a guy that we don't really think about, and we don't worry about his defense. So if you combine his improvements defensively with him staying as about a league average hitting catcher, probably still slightly above if you dug through every catcher across baseball, he's still a fine player. Can he be that next level where he's maybe a fringe all-star? That's what I don't know. That's what he's got to have more at-bats and more reps. I could see it really going either way. I really don't know where he'll end the end of the year. I have no
clue. I guess it's a gut feeling. Someone's going to ask me to I can't statistically prove what I'm going to say right now, and I can't like just pinpoint to one specific instance where I can say this is exactly why I feel this way. I guess it's just an overarching view. There's just something in me that just doesn't believe in it. I hate to say that about our own guys, but there's just something there. And I don't know if it's just the demeanor that he puts off. And I'm not saying I don't want anybody to have fun that's my catcher, but it's just like I kind of want, I don't know. I just want a little more substance there. A little more oomph, I guess is the term to use. And I just don't know if he's got it. And I hope I'm wrong, clearly. Last thing I'm going to say, I went to a Nashville Sounds game. The AAA, I got to see Jordan Walker, Ty Black. Shout out to our division rivals for their prospects. But what I was going to say most importantly about that game that I noticed that I am fired up about for the major leagues is the ABS system. If you've not been to a minor league game and you haven't really got to see it like live on hand, how they can challenge the strike and ball call, it is elite. And it's so fast. It's like, it almost like at my Fergie, I should say, I guess, asked me during the game, she's like, why don't they use this in the major leagues? And I'm like, well, they kind of just have to test it out. And she's like, well, I think it works pretty good. It comes up on the video board like 2 seconds after the pitch when they challenge it. And it shows you like the tennis does, where the tennis matches, where they zoom in on the ball, I guess, so whether it's in or out in the tennis tournaments, if you're familiar with that. And right there, you see whether it was a ball or strike. You get 2 challenges a game. If you lose them both, you're done. And only the pitcher, the hitter, and the catcher can challenge it. So you can't really wait around in the dugout to see whether or not you do it. It's got to be an immediate challenge. I love it. I'm just going to say right now, I'm here for it. I can't wait for it to be a thing in the major leagues, and it's going to be a thing in the major leagues because it was too well executed when I was there.
Definitely. I mean, I would like to see them go full all out, but again, just the challenges, and we've talked about it before. There's no question it improves the game. And it also just holds the umpires accountable, which is the most important thing. I'm not anti-umpire. I'm not saying that job is not incredibly hard. They do a billion times better job than I would do, and it wouldn't even be remotely close. Those guys work really hard. They do an incredible job, but they shouldn't have to do that job. That's the point of it. It's like something that you could do automated that you try to have grunt workers do. That's just like, what are you doing? Like we have the technology. Use it. I cannot wait till they get anything. It'll be such an improvement to the game.
Yep. All right, you want to jump into the relievers? I was kind of getting set up for the show here while also doing the video. Didn't get to see a whole lot of Zululeta, I think is the name. You told me how to say it. I still am going to mess it up. And obviously Cruz. Anything to add to those guys?
Cruz 1-2-3 inning on 7 pitches. Good to see him bounce back from obviously his rare tough outing on Saturday. And then Yasver Zulueta, man, this guy, it sucks that there's not really room for him. But this guy's a big league pitcher. I fully believe that. I think he's only allowed 1 run in his last 23 innings down at AAA, 1 earned run, and he's obviously been pretty impressive both times here in the big leagues. I know we'll talk about Slater on the back half of the rundown, but I think what Yasver Zulueta has done this year helped make the Reds feel more confident in getting rid of Alex Young. I know it's a lefty versus a righty, but it's just another bullpen arm. I think what Zulueta's done, I think what obviously Zach Maxwell's done, and even Tony Santi on. I think what those guys have done at AAA, while we may not be seeing the benefits of it in the major leagues, if Austin Slater comes up and gets hot, it's going to be because of what these AAA arms have done in their development this year.
Yeah, I obviously have nothing to go off of. I really was never a big believer in Alex Young. I know that people are like, oh, what are we talking about here? Like, it's a good move. I'm sure we'll get to that in the back half of the rundown here with Slater. It's just the whole bullpen situation right now there's a lot of guys that deserve an opportunity that aren't getting opportunities at the AAA level because we already have everybody at the big league level that doesn't deserve to lose their job. You know, Brent Suter is the closest guy, in my opinion, that you could listen to me, that you could argue that Alex Young could replace. But who cares? I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but do you care if Alex Young or Brent Suter comes into a 3 or 4 run game in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning?
I do care. I want Brent Suter because he can go 3 innings. Like, that matters because Brent Suter helps the other guys stay fresh. And that was what cost the Reds last year. Pitchers like Brent Suter, pitchers like Nick Martinez, and even Yasser Zulueta the last time when he came in through 3 innings. Being able to go multiple innings matters a lot, and it was the biggest downfall of last year's team because there was no one last year that could go multiple innings.
That's a fair point. I didn't really look at it from that perspective, but I guess my main point is that the difference between Alex Young and Brent Suter, to me, if you're going to try to have a fundamental argument about this season, we're arguing over or splitting hairs, whatever term you want to use. So, all right, let's jump into the back half here really quickly. As always, 988. Shout out to the folks at the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation, always doing very important work. If you're ever in a situation where you need help, as always, text, call 988-mantherapy.org. I'll give a free ad again here on a late night from the last night and then today. I am thankful that I'm going to get this video done. But having said that, I got some like chill brew sent to me a long time ago. I know I gave him a shout out before. Hinds Brothers Coffee. So I'm going to try it. I don't know. This will be the first time in show history that there's 2 of those. But we'll give it a shot. Nick, do you drink black coffee? Are you a black coffee person? Do you drink coffee at all?
Do I look like a guy that drinks black coffee?
This is straight black. Straight black, Nick.
I can drink coffee, but I prefer like a good old cold energy drink, baby. Like Rain, no free ads would be my drink of choice. But I could drink a coffee. Okay. It's not something I crave or want, and I need a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah,
fake sugar.
It did say shake well before opening. I don't think I did that, but you know what? It still tastes fine. So there is that. Some caffeine in here as well. Speaking of, there's really no good segue there. I was trying. My brain couldn't compute. Game time. There's a decision that needs to be made every time you go to get tickets. And if you're looking to get tickets, there's only one place to turn. That's the Game Time app. Nick will hit you with the official promo, but I'll just tell you straight up, today's tickets on the Game Time app, I think we're at like $5 get-in price. So there are times where it pays to wait. And if you're looking to wait, there's no better place than to wait than the Game Time app. Use code CINCY, CINCY. Terms do apply, because Nick would get on me if I didn't say that. But if you use the code CINCY, CINCY, you get $20 off your first purchase, which is a very nice gift that they give you down there at the Game Time app. And they support us, which is always good. Nick, I don't know if you want to add anything of your own personal experiences with the Game Time app, or if you want to do the official ad read just because that's what they would like you to do. I kind of went rogue there, and I thought I gave them a pretty damn good ad myself. But you go ahead and give them the official one if you'd like.
I think we only have to read the actual bottom if I'm doing this completely properly. But no, it's a really good app. I love the clean layout of it. I like the seat view a lot. That's really nice. That's what a lot of other apps don't have. It's just their seat view where you can really see the prices in each section. You don't have to like do a whole bunch of clicks. It's really smooth and easy to use. But take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our promo code CINCY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CINCY, CINCY, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And the Reds have 6 more games this week. Good time to go down to the ballpark. Chance here to go on a run, flip the season around. Chance to see Rece Hinds, baby.
That's right. It is a chance to see Rece Hinds, and more importantly, it's a chance to just go down to the ball yard, which is always a fun time. It's always a fun time to be in the ball yard. One thing I do miss here is we got to get ready to do some super chats. One thing I miss, and I'm not really going off the reservation about it yet. I didn't want to make a big deal about it because it always sounds like Trace is complaining. I like to be a semi-realistic person. If I'm going to complain, I think it's a fair and valid complaint. I'm sure that everybody always thinks that. But I try to be a little self-aware of the things that I might complain about from time to time. Why don't they bring back the vendors and up and down the aisles? You know, like, I mean, there's something about being at the ballpark, the atmosphere, and listening to somebody, you know, tell you that they got cold beer or they got peanuts or they got cotton candy or they got lemon chills. I want that back. I don't know what it takes to get that back. I know COVID kind of took that away, and then they were too lazy to bring it back now. But it's like, why not? Is there a better reason why? I'd like to know in the chat if you know why they don't bring that back. It's a simple thing. It's part of the atmosphere, you know? Part of the atmosphere.
The Reds, I haven't been to a Reds game this year. The Reds aren't doing vendors in the aisle.
Last few years they've not done that, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. I don't get it. Like, it can't be a savings of money thing. Like, they've got to be losing money by not having people walking up and down the aisles. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Maybe they can't get workers. What? I don't know what it is.
That might be the issue more than anything else.
I'll go down there and sling some beers if they tell me that I'm going to get free tips. I mean, I don't. You know, hey. I'll go towards the cause if I need to. All right, super chats. We got a few of them, baby. We got a few of them. Michael Rolfe, as always, coming in hot with a 20 bomb, says, "Fire Jimmy, burn Detroit," from our minds, that is. Hinds is in the Hall of Fame. Let's pound the Rockies. ATOBTTR. That means, and this one belongs to the Reds. Rolfe then chimes in with another $10 bomb, says, "Remember when it took Rece Hinds 456 years to get to the majors, and then he hit a ball to Saturn?" I do. He did smoke that baseball, dude. That ball was absolutely torched. It's hard to miss him.
He doesn't miss him. His home runs in the minor leagues, if you've ever watched him, I mean, there's a few at bats you might have to comb through to find them that you might have some rough swings. But man, when that man makes contact, it is a majestic thing of beauty.
Mark Fetter said, "Top of the Reds rotation is very good." He's not wrong about that. That's a 10 bomb by Mark. Molly with one. It says, "Boop, boopy, doop, boop." Or is it bop? That wouldn't be bop because that'd be 1-0 based off where I went to school, which sometimes would be questionable whether or not I know this. But bop, bop, dop, bop, that's not it. That's not it. It's boop, boop, doop, boop. Hopefully there's nothing bad that I just said there. I'm just going with what somebody else super chatted me, by the way. Thank you, Molly. Mark Fetter says, "Hinds stay when Stu returns." The short answer is yes, if he's playing well. Yes, he 100% does. They got plenty of other guys they can option. I can give you a few of them. I know that we all say that Espinal plays infield, and that's perfectly fine. But I don't think it would be Espinal. Obviously, when you have a guy like Rios up here, I think Soto's up here. Is he up here right now or not? I don't know.
Blake Dunn's here
Blake
right now.
Dunn's here.
Someone's going down tomorrow.
Correct.
I'm assuming it's Blake Dunn. I don't know if that decision was made or not.
They did like Bubba Thompson, so be careful. You never know. They like guys that can run.
I can't imagine that they put Rece Hinds in the lineup tonight. He hits a home run.
No, he's not going back down.
It's a great day, and then they send Blake Dunn, and then they send him down to Blake Dunn. So he's going to have a chance. Certainly a lot can happen before Stu gets back. One thing to remember on Rece Hinds, he's 23.8 years old. Matt McClain is 24.9 years old. So this guy is still young. I know he's a prospect that's been in the Reds farm system for a long time, had a really good year last year. I felt like he was on the precipice of breaking out. This year, it hasn't gone his way, but he still has a lot of time to figure it out. This is not a guy that is, 26-year-old prospect to AAA or anything like that. He's still relatively young. He's going to get a chance here, and hopefully he can be the next Brandon Williamson success story that just takes his chance and runs with it.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It would be really nice if that happened. Big C for coffee. I think that's also the Viking helmet guy, but I could be wrong. I'm not going to say that for sure. Big C for coffee says, sip of coffee equals Reds wins. So we got some coffee lovers in the chat. Michael Roth comes in again, says, a question for the crowd. If I want to get my kids a chance to interact with the players or catch a foul ball or catch a BP home run, what's the best way to do it? A lot's changed with the new netting. Yeah, I mean, my only advice would be the sun moon deck out there and get there as early as they'll allow you to get there. And then, quite frankly, just keep an eye out for Caleb 513, and he'll show you the way. You know, that's what I would say.
My advice would be go to a Dayton Dragons game. You'll have a pleasant experience. Those guys are all good dudes. They'll interact. They have someone who signs autographs after every single game, just automatically. They always have a player. If you really want like your kids, and look, there's a lot of really good players there. To be quite honest, there might be a little bit more overall high ceiling talent in Dayton than there is in the big leagues right now. So that'd be my advice. Go up to Dayton.
What an absurd thing to say.
It's kind of true.
I do, but I also know it's tough to get to the bigs, man. How many of those kids in single A are actually going to get to the big leagues? I don't know. I mean, I understand what you're saying, though. Maybe they'll all pan out, but that's. Oh man. Big C for coffee says, Trace, you know it. All right, thank you, Big C. All right, folks, let's jump back into it here. Ellie steals another bag tonight. I think he's got 45. Holds the record for the most stolen bases right before the All-Star break, or not right before, but before the All-Star break for the Cincinnati Reds. That's an incredible feat. This dude's unbelievable. I know there are times that people want to complain about his strikeouts. I know there are times where he makes an error in the infield and people maybe get upset about it. I just think if you can't enjoy watching Ellie De La Cruz play, it's going to be tough sledding for you. You know, like let me say it this way. If you were skeptical about Ellie De La Cruz when he first came up, he got all the hype. He was the one that got glorified over guys like Matt McClain nationally, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone always brings up Ellie De La Cruz when they bring up the Reds. They never mention Spencer Steer. They didn't mention, any of kind of the glue guys, if you want to call it that, of last year, of what made this team successful. I could understand why you have a little bit of a resentment towards Ellie for that. It's not his fault, but I can kind of understand why you don't like the fact that he gets glorified over maybe a bunch of other guys. But here's the thing. If you're in the position where you started watching him play, you don't like the ideas of him striking out a lot, which is understandable. You're an old school kind of guy. You like putting the ball in play. You don't like the strikeouts. You're not a big fan of the fact that he's made some routine plays this year that he wasn't able to make, I should say. And you think that the flashy play from time to time becomes, you don't really need to do that type stuff. It's okay just to say, you know what, I'm going to take a reassessment on this guy. I'm going to maybe just look at it for what it is. He's breaking records. He's doing things that haven't been done since Johnny Bench. Maybe just take a step back and be like, I'm just going to take it in while he's here. And I hope to God, Nick, he's here for the duration of his career. But I'm going to say this, just as I said last year, and I don't want to say I was right because everybody, I remember the chat, they would scream and yell at me every time I said, Joey Votto's got 3 months left in a Reds uniform. You better enjoy it. You better enjoy it. Because if you just want to sit here and act like that's not the case, then you're being naive. If you're going to be naive about Ellie De La Cruz, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to watch a world-class baseball player for the next, at least, hopefully, 5 seasons, if not more. But I'm going to enjoy every single time he's in a Reds uniform for that because he's quite frankly the most gifted, talented, unworldly type of talent that I've ever seen play in a Reds uniform. And I am not that old, so don't bring up all the old Big Red Machine people, please, because I'm not that old. And I have never seen them play, so they're not on the radar. But having said that, that's the biggest and best, I guess, compliment that I can give any player, and it's Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, well said. I mean, he's just having an incredible year. Almost stole 2 runs that no one else in the sport, gets. Obviously, the contact play, and then that other time earlier where he would have scored if Elias Diaz's foot just wasn't in the way. Just does things that no one else can do. And he does all that, and he's a great hitter on top of it. Or maybe I should say an above-average hitter right now. Going to be a great hitter. Yeah, he's incredible. Ellie De La Cruz is going to make Bill James' 4-decade career just completely look terrible as the more he keeps performing. Because for whatever reason, he decided to go at Ellie De La Cruz. Called him Jeff Francoeur. Trace.
I don't know. That's your beef between you and Bill. I'm not getting between it.
Bill, come on the show. Let's chat about it, brother. I know you blocked me because you're so soft, but Jeff Francoeur. This guy called him Jeff Francoeur.
What the hell? I mean, Jeff Francoeur had a good career, Nick. I mean, let's not beating down Jeff Francoeur. He's got kids. He's got a family. Damn, man. Jeff Francoeur, pretty good player. Just because he's not Ellie De La Cruz, that doesn't seem to be fair. Some people called him. You want to get on a train? You want me to put you on the passenger train, or hell, you could actually you can what's that called? You don't captain a train. What is that? What are you when you're the head of the train person?
Conductor.
The conductor. You can conduct this train if you'd like, Nick. People were comparing him and saying he was Aristides Aquino. I don't know if you remember, but I do.
I remember. I did a show after that Philadelphia game. And one of these days, I've said it before, one of these days, you're going to have me just come on here, and I'm just going to read the chat, start to finish, every single comment that I had to sit through and comb through and try to do a show. One of these days, it's coming. Days are numbered.
Speaking of which, if you're ever in a need of letting things go and getting things off your chest, there's a number you can call, 988. You can text and or call. Sounds like some people need to call it from time to time to get some things off their chest. It's not really good to hold vendettas. It's not really good to hold grudges. There's a book. There's a book out there that would let you know that forgiveness is a great thing. And just saying, there's some people that might need it. Bill James.
Yeah, the book is not the historical baseball abstract, though.
All right, fair enough. Candy, you have Candy on here. Congratulations to him. He got a multi-hit game. What else do you want to add? I think he's a serviceable player.
Yeah, he was having a rough stretch. So I mean, good to see him get 2 hits tonight. Also, good for him having that heads up. When the Rockies did that boneheaded decision. I mean, that would have been a very easy play to. I don't think you need to be that critical if you're just, you're walking back to third base over there. Yeah. He clearly was engaged in the game, saw it, read it perfectly, took off, and scored easily.
Nick, you know what, Nick? A lot of people get on here and they say, I watch this show because I like Nick. Nick does this, Nick does that. I mean, of all the things that you've said in this whole entire show, that's the best thing I've heard you say. Honestly, I completely just let that go right past my brain. And there are times where someone says something and it clicks and it's like, wow, that's a great point. That's a good point. Candelario could have been walking back to the bag, staring into the stands, doing the old big league type stuff, and he wasn't. You know who was doing the old big league type stuff? The pitcher, who was too lazy enough to get off his feet to try to catch a baseball, but that's here nor there. But good point by you.
First time for everything.
Yeah. All right. Slater is his name. Austin, I believe, is his first name. He is coming to the Cincinnati Reds, and I guess he's going to try to fill a hole that is the outfield. I've seen all the tweets. It's like every single time, man. I have done such a better job of not going down the rabbit hole that is X.com anytime that there's a move that's made for the Cincinnati Reds, because ultimately it turns into this big old debate of, oh, man, it's like, you scream and yell about wanting them to go out and do something, and then they go out and do something, and then it's never eventually or quite frankly good enough. And the thing that's kind of wild about that sometimes to me is like, if they went out and actually did something that was in some people's eyes good enough, and they got a horrific deal in return for it, like pulled like an Angels from last season, like the LA Angels who
Lucas Giolito.
Yeah, you get Lucas Giolito, and you also like, you just make terrible moves. And then you're praised for it because you care or something. I don't know. I think that's the term. But point is like, this guy has had an okay career at times. I'm not suggesting for a single second that I think he's like the Messiah. He's going to come in here and fix all the problems. But it's a flyer. It's at least a flyer, Nick. That's how I look at it. It's a lottery ticket. We just bought a $20 scratch off. It might work out. It probably won't. But if it does work out, we can go hit the town and have a good time.
I mean, the Reds faced 3 left-handed pitchers Wednesday, Friday, and then they faced one in the Marlins series. You cannot tell me that Austin Slater does not give you a better chance in those 3 games. So Reds made a move that gives them a chance this week. This is kind of in some ways, a put-up or shut-up week. And if it doesn't go well, guess what? The Red season's probably off. Right. And guess what? If the Red season's off, do you need Alex Young? That's what I don't understand. Like, sure,
yeah.
like
who cares about Alex Young?
Alex Young's not going to go get you a big prospect in return. No. These guys stats at AAA right now. So, like, it was a move to help you this week. And if this week goes south and the next couple weeks go south, you get the trade deadline, guess what? You have really no use for Alex Young whatsoever. So it was a move that it'll probably help the Giants. The Giants needed a bullpen arm. Alex Young is certainly an upgrade. Alex Young was incredible at AAA. Make no mistake about it. What this guy did at AAA was incredible. He was inconsistent down there. But the Reds have had other guys step up in the bullpen. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Yasver Zulueta, Tony Santillan, Zach Maxwell down at AAA. And this was a move that you made Alex Young expendable. I hope that the Reds get into a spot with the offense like they got into a spot with the pitching this year where they have the same problem with the offense. These are great problems to have. So, yeah, I think it was a good move for the Reds. I don't know if it makes a difference, but there's no denying it gives the Reds a better chance this week.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Ashcraft here. Right before we get into the who, what, when, where, and why, I'm hopeful I didn't miss something. Like I said, I've been knee deep in some subject that we're getting ready to get to here in a minute. Did I miss something?
Well, Ashcraft got demoted to AAA.
Yeah, so my head's been in sand all day.
I said that was going to happen last night, so that wasn't surprising if you read between the tea leaves. David Bell had some pretty poignant comments about the move. Trying to find them in particular, but basically the tweet actually got deleted that it was from. So I'm not going to say who.
Can we paraphrase, or do you know what it was?
I'll paraphrase it. I'm not going to say the reporter that put it out there because I'm guessing that now it makes sense because the way that it was worded, I was kind of like, David Bell said that. But basically, the was like Spires has passed Ashcraft on the depth chart, and Ashcraft has got stuff he's got to work on down at AAA. It was not the typical David Bell, well, we love Graham Ashcraft, where he's going to – it's really unfortunate we have to send him down. I mean, it was pretty direct. Carson Spires is just better, baby. We're rolling with him.
Could you imagine? This is my favorite. You want to have some fun on late night Chatterbox Reds. I know that this is probably a pain for Nick to edit out sometimes, or maybe he'll leave it in. I don't know. But here's the deal. Could you imagine like being back there in the press conference and, David Bell's at the press conference. He's like, it's really unfortunate that, he's basically got a situation here where he's throwing the ball well, but we got a lot of guys up here. And cut. And then essentially, all the reporters start packing up their stuff. And he's like, yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Listen, Spires, he's better than Ashcraft. Ashcraft, he's ass, period. Okay? Simple as that. I don't know how you guys can't see this. You got to come in here and ask me these dumb questions. I would love to see that side of David Bell. I know that side exists because I've seen it based off of his reactions to umpires. So, it's there. It's just a matter of when he uses it. I wonder if he used it and he thought he was off the record, and that reporter thought it wasn't off the record. Things to think about.
That's what I'm assuming. This is a pretty good, trustworthy reporter. I'll leave it at that.
Trustworthy reporter, huh?
Yeah.
Can I keep questioning you?
No, let's not. Let's not.
I think we should.
Let's not put the names out of friends of the program, Trace.
Okay. Understood. He did have to put out like a PR tweet today, too. I don't know if you've seen it, but he kind of got hammered. Yeah, he got hammered. He got hammered on social media because he put that tweet out and he got crushed for it. And I thought to myself, damn, not a good look.
We've been there.
Yeah, maybe he got the same call. Maybe he did. I tell you what, I go back and forth in my head on whether we made the right decision there or not. I don't know, man. Who knows? In the grand scheme of things at the time, it was tough to figure out. But you know what? We move, we live, we learn. We all fight another day. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where we're at right now. There's a lot of people in the chat that they are following along very closely, and there are some people right now that probably have no clue what we're talking about, and that's okay. You don't have to know. It's not like that big of a deal. But this is wild. Well, I'm glad to know that we're not the only ones. All right. Who, what, when, where, and why, Nick? You have any clue? You have any clue at all? I bet you do, because this is what you do. Presented by Nick Kirby.
Well, Nick Lodolo tomorrow. That's pretty exciting, Trace. Nick Lodolo is back going up against Cal Quantrill, former first-round pick, number 8 overall out of Stanford. This is a guy that's been traded several times. Having a solid year for the Rockies, 6-6, 3.77 ERA. Last start out was solid against the Brewers, 5 innings, 2 runs. He has 6 starts this season where he's gone 6 innings and allowed 1 earned run or less. So I think that kind of just shows why Nick Lodolo pitching in this matchup is a big deal. Quantrill currently relies on 5 pitches, mostly a sinker, split finger, cutter, and curve, very occasionally a changeup. Sinker averages 94 miles per hour. He's had some success against the Reds, career 3.38 ERA in 16 innings, 4 of those starts, 2 of those relief appearances. Active Reds are 6 for 22. Candelario is all the negative on that, 1 for 11 with a double. India is got a hit in his only at bat. Austin Slater, not sure if we'll see him tomorrow. He's 1 for 3. Tyler Stevenson is 2 for 4. Nick Lodolo, of course, he's been incredible all year, but was even better since he returned from the IL the last time. In his 6 starts, he had a 2.57 ERA, so his last 6 starts out there. He did not face the Rockies when the Reds played them earlier this year. His only career start against the Rockies came back in 2022 at Great American Ballpark, and he went 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. The only Rockies that have ever faced Lodolo are Brendan Rodgers, who's 0 for 3, Tugluga, whatever his name is, 0 for 2, and then Jacob Stallings, the backup catcher, is 1 for 1. So Nick Lodolo tomorrow, excited to see him back on the mound. Nick Lodolo, a guy that there's no question raises the ceiling of this team, and I think it's by a pretty decent margin when he's healthy.
Well, the good news is he's very, very similar, and he looks a lot like the guy that just dominated the Rockies, if you know what I'm saying. I think he's he is. I mean, are you saying I'm not right?
I would say he's even like a better version of the guy that just dominated the Rockies.
He is. He's a very
Abbott, who I love.
Chat. What do you think? He looks very similar to the guy that just threw, right? I know the chat agrees with me. There's no doubt about it. All right. Speaking of which, let's move on to the contact play. But before we do that,
I have it.
Before we do that, that's why this show's good. I mean, you can say what you want. I'll be a polished show, do this, that, and that perfectly. That's why people love the show. Oh, there he is, Nick Lodolo.
I was putting the graphics together at McDonald's with the play place with the kids today, and they were not cooperative at all.
Yeah, it happens. What happens more times than not.
It was a tough scene.
I can only imagine you screaming and yelling at your kids because you're frustrated you can't get what you're trying to get done, and they're climbing on stuff that they're not supposed to be climbing off of. Welcome to parenting. And I also do, where's it at? There it is. I might have to get that thing fixed back there because it really bugs me. There's times where I'm talking and I'm like, there's a huge hole right behind my head. But I said I wasn't going to get it fixed, so maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I've been going back on my words. That's what some people in the chat already say that I do. Notably, Mouse Cop is his name, but nonetheless. All right. Last few super chats here before we hit the road. Michael Rolfe says, if Rece Hinds smokes the cover off, then he meant If Rece Hinds smokes the cover off the ball throughout July, would you trade him at the deadline? That is a bit. There's no way he means that. The answer is clearly no. We're not doing that. Michael Rofton says, the chat loves you, Nick. Never forget it. Trace, launch the space shuttle, the viral baseball video that we all need to retweet to save your marriage. Yeah, listen, I know it's a little, what's the right word to use here? It's a little like you're begging people to do something for you. Listen, the contact play is what it is. I think it's a unique kind of situation from time to time based off of the score and, who's pitching and, what runners are on base. It's not like a black and white. It's just not a black and white play. It's not an easy thing to just 100% say this is 100% the right play or 100% the wrong play. There are times where it's clearly evident when you should do it and when you shouldn't do it. I did my best. I think the video was like 10 minutes long. It's long, a little longer than usual. I tried my best to make sure though that there was absolutely no wasted air or wasted seconds on essentially getting to the point and making sure that we're all aware of what's actually happened with the contact play in 2023 and 2024. And I'm dropping that video. I don't want to put a time on it, but I'm dropping that video before tomorrow, which means I have about an hour and a half, which also means, Nick, that you have to find a pillow and we got to get ready to get off this show. So there is that. I'm clearing the graphics and you're going to do the pillow. That's fine. Yeah, we do it. There he is. Nice.
See you about 6 more times this week, brother.
Very nice. Good job. Glad to hear nothing broke. That's all good and dandy. But as usual, I just want to say thank you to everybody that supports us and this show. If you can, please go like, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Most importantly as well, I need for you all to retweet this video. I mean, when I tell you I have spent, just entirely too long. I'm not even... You think this isn't a bragging statement. This is just me saying that I've spent way too much time on this video. But I actually hope that there are people that watch it and they learn something. Because if you read an article about the contact play, you are so far misled down a beaten path that is not right that I've got to steer you back. Some are saying I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I wouldn't go that far. So, without further ado, I'm going to go dunk a basketball. Find it, retweet it, become a Jehovah's Witness like me. Shout out to you. Shout out to all of us. Go Reds. I'll see you tomorrow. In honor of the contact play. Athlete. See you tomorrow.